Rain had stopped just minutes before he stepped out of the car. The city still glistened, puddles reflecting streetlights like trembling memories. Daniel checked his watch. 7:02 p.m., 2 minutes late. He hated being late. His wife had always teased him for it. "You treat time like a promise," she used to say. Now every minute felt heavier because she wasn't here to keep count. The restaurant wasn't fancy, just a quiet corner place with warm yellow bulbs and a chalkboard menu that smudged whenever humidity rose. Perfect for people who wanted conversation, not noise. His friend Mark had booked the blind date. "You need to meet someone who talks about more than weather and taxes," he'd insisted. Daniel had agreed, half out of exhaustion, half because silence at home had started to feel like punishment. He walked in, shoulders tense, coat still damp at the collar. The hostess smiled. That practiced kindness reserved for people who look like they might turn back. "Reservation under Daniel Reed," he murmured. She pointed toward a table near the window. "She's already here." Daniel hesitated before moving. Already here. That phrase hit harder than it should have. His wife had always been the one waiting, coffee halfway gone, smiling as if patience was love itself. He approached the table slowly. The woman sitting there had her hair tied loosely. A simple blue dress, no phone in hand, unusual. What caught him wasn't her face, but the flowers resting beside her glass. White lilies, his late wife's favorite. The sight drained color from his breath. "Hi," he said, voice unsure, almost apologetic. She looked up, eyes warm, curious. "You must be Daniel." He nodded, still staring at the lilies. "Those flowers, they're beautiful. They were my sister's favorite," she said softly. "I bring them everywhere these days. Kind of my way of keeping her around." Her words hit him like a quiet echo. "Sister." He looked away, exhaling. The universe had strange humor, giving two grieving strangers the same ritual of remembrance. They ordered coffee. Not wine, not dinner. Just coffee. Because heavy hearts rarely start with full plates. The silence between them wasn't awkward. It had shape and weight like shared language. Daniel found himself noticing small things. How she stirred sugar absent-mindedly. How her sleeve brushed the vase each time she reached for her cup. "So," she asked, "Mark said you're learning to live again." He smiled faintly. "That obvious," she shrugged. "It takes one to recognize one." Outside, thunder rolled far away. Inside, the waiter refilled their cups without asking. Daniel realized it had been years since he'd spoken this long to anyone who understood grief without explanation. The flowers sat quietly between them, two ghosts listening. For the first time in a long time, Daniel wasn't counting minutes. Ollie stared at her confused. "You said blind date?" Aya nodded, a shy smile hiding under nervous eyes. "I thought, maybe it's time to meet someone new. My friend set this up." She said the guy would be in a gray sweater sitting by the window. Ollie blinked, realizing he was wearing that same gray sweater. Fate had a strange sense of humor. "So, you thought I was him?" he asked, half amused, half stunned. She laughed softly, embarrassed. "I guess I just sat down at the wrong table." For a few seconds, neither said a word. Just the clinking of cups and the hum of a soft song playing in the background. Then Ollie said, "Well, maybe it's not the wrong table after all." That line broke the ice. They talked. Slowly at first. About work. About how both of them hated traffic. How the cafe smelled like cinnamon and second chances. Then deeper. About the quiet loneliness after losing people. About the small routines that help you breathe again. Ali told her about his daughter. How she loves to sit by the window waiting for him to come home. Aya's smile faded into something softer. "I lost my mother last year," she said. "She used to say love always finds you when you stop chasing it." That silence again, this time heavy but warm. The waiter came with refills, but neither touched their cups. The world outside moved. Cars, wind, life. But inside that small cafe, time held still for two strangers who weren't supposed to meet. Then Aya's phone buzzed. A message. "He's running late. 10 minutes more." Her eyes widened. "Oh, so my actual date is still coming." Ali smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. "Guess I should finish my coffee before the real guy shows up." Aya hesitated. "Or you could stay," she said quietly. "Maybe. It's okay if I have coffee with two people today." He looked at her, really looked. The woman who had just walked into his morning and somehow reminded him that his heart was still alive. "I'll stay," he said. Outside, the rain started again, tapping against the glass like applause. The next 10 minutes stretched into 20. They forgot about the time, about the message, about the date that never arrived. Aisha checked her phone once more. No new messages. She sighed, almost relieved. Looks like he isn't coming. Ali leaned back, smiling faintly. Maybe he was never meant to. She laughed again, and this time it wasn't nervous. It was real. For the first time in months, Ali didn't feel like a single father running on fumes. He felt like a man who'd just met someone who could change everything, even if just for a cup of coffee. Aya glanced at the clock, then back at Ali. You should probably go. I didn't mean to keep you. Ali shook his head. You didn't. It's been nice. Unexpectedly nice. There was that smile again, the kind that doesn't need polish, the kind that happens when walls start to fall. She looked down at her cup, tracing the rim with her finger. You ever think about how some moments feel too gentle to question? Ali tilted his head. Like if you ask why they're happening, they'll disappear. Exactly. Outside, the rain softened to a drizzle. Through the window, the world looked rinsed clean. People passed with umbrellas, laughter echoing faintly through the glass. Inside, it felt like the air itself had slowed down to listen. Aya's phone buzzed again, another message. This time she didn't look. Ali noticed. You're not gonna check. She shrugged. If it's meant to be, it'll find its way. He smiled. That's brave. No, she said softly, that's tired. That line landed somewhere deep in him. They both knew what it meant. The exhaustion of pretending you're fine, the quiet ache of showing up for life even when it forgets to show up for you. A silence settled, the kind that feels like truth. Then Ali leaned forward. You know, maybe this is what a real blind date is. Not one your friend sets up, but one the universe does, when you stop expecting it. She laughed quietly. So you're saying the universe matched us? He grinned. At least for one coffee. Her eyes softened. Then maybe I owe the universe a thank you. Time slipped. The waiter cleared other tables, refilled candles, dimmed the lights. The cafe grew quieter, smaller. Aya finally stood, gathering her things. I should go before they close. Ali nodded, but his chest felt heavy. Yeah, at the door, she paused. Ali, yeah? Next time. Maybe we don't let fate do all the work. He smiled, the kind that holds both hope and fear. Next time I'll bring 2 cups. She walked out into the drizzle, fading into the hum of the street. Ali watched until she was gone, the rain blurring her silhouette, then whispered, almost to himself, guess blind dates aren't always accidents. The cafe light flickered once. Then the screen would fade to black. The next evening, Ali couldn't stop thinking about her. The way her words lingered like a half-finished song. He opened his phone, scrolled aimlessly, then set it down again. It wasn't about messages, it was about moments, and how rare it was to meet someone who didn't rush through them. He replayed her last line in his head. Maybe we don't let fate do all the work. That night, he walked back to the same cafe, not with a plan, just with the kind of quiet hope that makes people do irrational things. The same seat by the window was empty. He sat down anyway, ordered her drink, cappuccino with cinnamon, and waited. Hours passed. The rain came again, heavier this time. He watched it blur the city lights until everything outside looked like watercolor, soft and distant. He smiled at the thought of her standing somewhere in that blur, maybe thinking the same thing. Then, just as he was about to leave, the bell above the cafe door rang. Aisha, drenched, a little breathless, but unmistakably her. You came back, she said, surprised. You too, he replied, standing up. Guess the universe got our message. She laughed, brushing raindrops from her hair. I told myself if I ran into you again, I'd take it as a sign, he gestured to the chair. Then sit. Signs shouldn't go to waste. They talked about everything and nothing. Childhood dreams, missed chances. The way people pretend to be fine when they're breaking. The world outside disappeared. The only sound was their voices weaving through candlelight and rain. At one point, she said, you know what scares me the most? Getting used to good things. Because when they end, you don't just miss them. You forget how to feel without them. Ali didn't answer right away. He just reached across the table, gently touching her hand. Then maybe don't call it an ending. Just a beginning we didn't expect. Her eyes glistened. You really believe that? He nodded. I think some people are meant to meet twice. First by chance, then by choice. Silence. The kind that doesn't need filling. Aisha smiled, slow and real. Then I choose coffee again tomorrow, he grinned. Same time, same universe, she said, standing. She left, but this time Ollie didn't watch her go with sadness. He knew now, the right kind of connection doesn't fade. It waits. The rain eased. He looked out at the night sky, whispering, maybe love doesn't need fireworks. Sometimes it just needs rain and timing. Then, as the frame closed on his thoughtful face, a line faded in on screen. Sparkles, some meetings aren't coincidences. They're reminders that kindness still finds its way. Sparkles, and just before the screen cut to black, a warm voiceover. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe, handsome. The next tale might just be yours.